Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my job shop. Welcome to my channel. My name is Keith and I'm your host. All right, so you noticed that we didn't start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to be changing up my intro into my videos. Not because anybody's forced me to change on, on the Pledge of Allegiance. Remember the goatee I had? I started that when I began my sobriety. I just never trimmed my beard and it started growing. Well, it got about that long. And then I had an in-law and she vocal her disgust. And that even increased the want to keep it going, if you know what I mean, in that. And I grew that for a decade. Okay, so, you know, the pledge, I love those kids and I love those kids' parents, and it's not indoctrination, it is free love. And that's what that was. And I really enjoyed it, and I'm proud to have it on my intro there. I have a new venture, a new thank you, which will be projected to my mentors, my supervisors, my journeymen, and other apprentices that worked alongside me in my career. And that's part of why I actually said we a lot, because they are why I'm here and why my workmanship expectations are what they are. Anyhow, I'm going to be working up something, and it's going to go along that lines. They are also part of a group that I thank every day that I get up, and I have the freedom to come out here and work and make my dreams come true, and make your dreams come true. All right, let's get on with our project here. I told you we were building another drill press for a fence company. And I started the frame, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw up a picture here of the finished product. All right, and this is it mounted up in the location for my last customer. And then we also added on feed in and out tables along each side of it. But basically it's to come in and bore out the big cross holes and the posts for fences. And they also use it for a lot of other things. I've incorporated a mechanical stop on the back side, and we'll get into that as I'm building this. But this gives you a visual of what the finished product looks like. All right, I have every single component for this drill press in-house, and I received it within 1 week of ordering. So getting past the COVID and all of that issue of shipping and handling, of course there's some price increases along the way, and we have to so we have some price increases, I believe is where I was at. And that just incorporated into the quote for the drill press to start with. So besides that, there was one item, the lineal bearings that go on the back side of this plate, and they go up and down the guide rods. They're coming from Japan. And last time I built the drill presses, the same thing. It was 4 to 6 weeks out. And they came in with about 4 weeks or so. So we're progressing on with this thing, and we're going to just we'll be adding those. When they come in, then we'll, you know, add them on and be able to assemble what we can at that time. But we're going to manufacture everything. So I started on the frame, and basically you see me do a lot of frame work on the television elevator, or the big screen elevator that I built. And I'm uploading all my videos on Rumble, as I said in previous video there. As I'm loading them up there, it actually it brings me back some time, because that's, we're talking about going back to 2011 and then kind of filling in all that. And I got a lot of good videos of a lot of real projects that actually come through Turn Right Machine Works. So as I'm loading up those videos, I realized that I have done a lot of steel frame structure. So if I bypass some steps of this, it's because I know that you have already seen me fit and cut and also plasma cut out. I mean, I plasma cut out these links here yesterday, and they got nice finishes and all of that. This is 1/2 inch right here. This is about the max that I can come in and just pierce and cut, but I'm getting really good cut qualities on there. But I needed to have these because we're going to be drilling and tapping, and we're going to be putting in these shouldered bolts, and that's where there's a pneumatic pistons. This mounts on the back, so you saw in the pictures there's two pneumatic pistons that control this, and this mounts to the back of that, and then these 4 pads here are on the lineal bearings. So there's a lot of action going in on this side, but there's a lot of action that's actually mounted on the back side of this as well. And I have the foot pedal, I have the switch, I have all the electrical, I have all the, even I think I put it out in the, I put a lot of things out in the container just because I need a lot of space for all the projects that I got going on. So to start off our project here, this is the motor for the drill press, and of course it comes stock with just a straight shaft and a key. And we need to mount up a Jacobs chuck. So we got a Jacobs chuck, and this is 1/8 to 5/8 capacity. It's a really nice Jacobs chuck and a key. But we're going to be dismantling this motor. We're going to take the armature and we're going to set it up in the lathe, and then we're going to machine the threads and the shoulder that's going to lock the drill chuck onto the end of this, and then we're going to reassemble this thing, put this on here. And the only other thing that the motor will need really is, we pull this out here, we make a plate in here for the emergency stop switch that's right here in your face. And that's the only other added thing to this besides the electrical hookup on it. All right, so, but this is important. We need to get this done because we need to tear this apart, do the machining, and then we got to reassemble it. So let's go through that process. We loosen both of the bottom ones there, and then you take out the top one here. These are slotted on the bottom. This has got a hole on the top. This is just the guard or the shroud for the back side here. Okay. Little cardboard dust in there. All right, so we're going to take that and we're going to set that over on our table. All right, now we have a fan on here, and most of the old style fans, sometimes they ended up breaking, pulling them off. This one here actually has 2 little tangs on there, and we're going to get a pry bar that's underneath here, but we just spread these 2 little tangs right here at the same time. We put a little pressure on pulling it off, and we're gonna be able to just slide the fan right off of there. It's a lot better design than the old style that used to be a lock on with some kind of a ring there. Sometimes they broke getting them off. But I remember the last time I took one off, the other 2 drill presses I made, it was really, really nice. So US Motors has actually improved on this feature here. Put a little block of wood back here, which is my hammer handle, and there we go. All right, we switch up to our 1/2 inch for these. And we're just going to take off each of the bearing bell caps, or the end bells. Also, it does, you can match mark these, you can match mark these. We know basically that these go down, this is up, and this is on this side here. But like everything else, you just go ahead and you take a photograph of it, and you'll know how it goes back together. And around on this side here is a rubber seal, and this is just like a slinger ring, and you just want to pull that off of there. And I'm not sure which direction, or if there's a spring pack and some kind of hardware that keeps one of these on, and forgot if I was able to remove just one or if I remove both of them, but I'm just going to pull this so that I'm ready. Okay, there's the armature. I'm going to wipe the grease off of the bearings, and we're going to go right into the lathe, and we'll grab the drill chuck and do that. And the other side, I didn't have to take apart or anything, so I'm just going to leave those back here, and I'll retorque them when I go for assembling. Let's go. We're in here at the lathe, and I put my forge on here. Well, I had it locked in here. In fact, actually, it's still got the imprints of the rubber mats. All right. Okay. How many of you remember me making these when I first set up this this chuck? And actually, they're doing pretty good. They're rare, a little bit in here. Might be time for another set. Every once in a while, they get loose, and I did number them. Okay, 4. Oh, all right. I did put that on 4 here. Okay, this is 3. 3. And this one here is 1, and this is 2. Okay, see how that one's a little loose like that? So I just take and I squeeze it like that. All right, and all right. All right, that way we don't put any chuck marks into the surface on this armature. All right, now this armature, it's got to come in quite a bit. Okay, that's about 1 inch diameter. I'm going to grab it right behind the bearing here, and then I'm going to be able to indicate here on top of the bearing, which is precision diameter. If that's not a good reading, then you really don't have a good quality bearing in there, right? All right, and I'm going to leave this bearing in here. We wiped the blue grease that was on both of them, and then we're going to run the center in here, and that should support the armature. All right, so we just kind of bring our forge jaw in here, and all right, and All right, I think that's close enough to start dialing. All right, let's bring our center in here. Okay. All right, and all right, well, let's see here. The underside of the adjustment screw right there would hit the jaw if I angled it too much this way here. So let's just bring you in closer, I guess. All right, and let's go ahead and we'll start. Let's just put the indicator over here somewhere. You want, okay, you guys that need 0, why you need 0? It's not going to stay there. All right, 30, 32 plus, and about 7. So we'll just go ahead and bring her on over. Okay, I'm going to live with that. All right, and make sure our center is tight, and it is. Okay, and just for curiosity, let's go ahead and bring it back here. And let's see what this bearing is running out on the outside. I just changed a bit around here because the surface was a little abused on the other side of that insert. D&MP is what I like using for this because it actually lets me really get in here close to the center and start and turn this diameter down to the diameter we need so I can stay, you know, keep my clearance and everything else all set up here. So we're just going to be turning an inch down here and turning it for a 5/8 National Fine Thread. The reason why that's not sounding so bad for interrupted cut, most armatures and stuff like that are made out of leaded stock. And leaded stock is easy machine. They're in the production knocking out these armatures and stuff like that. Okay, there's about 1/100 on the length. Take another 50 thousandths. 50 thousandths per side is our cut here. We'll go ahead and take a measurement. Oh, the key's on the back side. Good. Okay. We're about 921. We're going to come in and we're going to square off the shoulder and leave just a little tiny radius in the bottom there, and that's just going to be hand shaped. For our left hand D&MP here. Nice little lead angle to it. And then we're going to come over here to the major diameter and we're just going to give it a little chamfer as well. Okay, I'm going to try just something a little different here, and I'm going to give you a little bit higher up view so you actually see my my dashboard gauge here, which my compound is set at 0. This is set at 0, and I mean my cross slide is set at 0. This is set at 0. This lets you know how much more straight in distance is actually happening when I feed the compound in. Okay. And I hope this is fast enough for me to pull out, and I'll just make sure that I make that happen. All right. First, we're just going to try a pass here, and we're going to be setting our thread, just checking and making sure that we have got 16 threads. Boom. Okay, that was a little premature. Not the first time. Okay, let's very, very faint, but that looks like it. We're gonna take another let's take 5 just to scratch it a little deeper. Okay, I like that. That's about the right timing. It's a good speed. I'm comfortable with that. Okay, back to 0. And just double checking again. There again, 5/8 National Fine is normally 18, but we're cutting 16 because that is the requirement for the Jacob's chuck. If you look at that, it's thread on here. It's actually written right on here. 5/8 16. And 16 threads on the depth is 81,000 is double depth there. Okay, so we're at 35 aside now, so we only got a couple more cuts here. This is 40 per side, so this should be the 80. And really it was only like 81,000, but we're gonna take this cut. I'm gonna take a couple spring cuts, which now that my cross slide and everything else has been reconditioned, I haven't had to do too many spring cuts. The only time I actually have that come into play anymore is if I have a dull bit. But it always seems to give it a sheen on the threads. Just for the heck of it, let's go for a test fit here. I'd rather have it fit closer. I'm going to back this out a little bit. Oh, I think I'm liking that. All right, if you look way down in there, the threads go in about an inch, and then there's a 1/4 inch or so down in there where the threads aren't going all the way to the bottom. And it might be just a little bit interference on the major diameter of those threads right there. The threads feel perfectly good, so I'm going to leave the threads exactly like they are. I'm going to modify the end of the threads here to go ahead and fit down into the bore and let the shoulder out here. We turn this down to fit down into that straight portion in there, and we dress that off, and here we go. This is our test fit here. Now, the most important thing is that back face comes back and makes contact and closes off right there. Okay, those have got it made 100%, and they are right now. And then when we tighten it down with Loctite at the end, it'll be sitting pretty in the right place. All right, time to go assemble our armature again. I hope there's still some blue grease in. Well, this ain't the same blue, but they did, for some reason, manufacturer puts grease on the face of these two bearings. The back one actually has a little thrust spring right there. Okay, we're gonna set this off to the side because somehow that stuff always jumps right on me. Okay, there's plenty. Boy, I hate wasting a white rag. Let me go with paper towel. Okay, now we carefully put the armature back through here. I blew it off so it's clean. Nothing in there. Nothing up my sleeve. Okay, slips right in. Now this cover here, the two screws here that stay in. This one here is on top. Pretty straightforward. And then we gotta lift it up, get it started in the register. All right, now we should be able to get the bolt started. Equal. Rotate your shaft, making sure that no bearings are getting cocked, nothing's in there on the armature. The flange bottoms out on the register, so you don't have to worry about being anything but right up tight. Okay. I like using the little ratchet here so you just don't over torque them. All right, now we put on our little fan. There is a key on there. Yeah, it goes on a lot better that way. Just making sure it's in the little groove there, okay? Now, this cover, and make sure the flat washers are out towards the head of the bolt. Good, good. Okay, fan's where it's supposed to be, and when we get ready to mount this up, we'll grab some Loctite and put that in position there. All right, ready, set, drill. That was just one of the many steps that I have to prep different items that get mounted on here. You know, there's some things that we do with the cylinders, and you know, we got to make the plates and mount the switches, and we have the foot pedal, and we have to do a few modifications to it because we have controlled venting on the foot pedal so that we can control the travel of this head up and down. So in the next step, when I bring you in, we'll catch up probably on some of the other features there. We do have to drill and tap for the bracket here. It's going to go on the back of the motor, and we have to take this plate and we have to do the bearing bolt pattern and the motor bolt pattern on it as well. So this is just a brief catch up on this project, or starting this project. Until next time, get her done.